how do these companies maximize efficiency, make those machines operate in sync? Well, that's where Mr. Marc Eisenberg comes in, CEO of ORBCOMM. The ticker symbol is ORBC. It was up nearly 15% yesterday, still a winner this week. Marc, great to have you on with us today. So within the report, I think people were surprised, at least in part, and that's why you saw that earnings surprise of 35.7%. I think people love that, and that's one of the reasons you saw that jump. Tell me about the quarter. Was it hard?
Yeah, I think it's an environment unlike any of us had ever seen before. I mean, we know the playbook in a recession, where your customers kind of slow down at a very pronounced rate. But when COVID hit, you had a lot of binary ones and zeros. That you had some customers where factories are closed down to zero, and then you have, other companies like our food business, where all of a sudden they're running at 150%. So we've just never seen our industries move in both directions so quickly.
And I saw in your last earnings report, too, the prior 3 months, you used the same sort of phrase, a difficult environment, and it's no surprise there. You do have some things going forward that may be in your favor, 5G, Internet of Things, right? These are some cool buzzwords. People love these areas. You recently extended some relationships. Tell me a little bit about the outlook for that.
So, I mean, there's definitely an outlook. For those who don't know what ORBCOMM does, we allow, industrial companies or transportation fleets or others that have large assets to command and control and have visibility to that from your PC, as opposed to, going out and touching the asset. You can change temperature over the air. You can get diagnostic readings and fix stuff before it breaks. So, this environment, really some of these services that we provide kind of kick into overdrive where, large transportation companies can sit there and manage their fleets from home as opposed to having truckers out there, pre-cooling their refrigerated assets or something like that. So, I think that's, it shouldn't be such a surprise that we would do really well in this environment. But looking forward, you look at 5G with the amount of bandwidth that you can present to customers. There's a lot of excitement that you can move from 10 years ago it was where's my asset, one location a day. And, then it goes and progresses to, isn't it neat that I can pull, data off the engine bus and understand, diagnostics and do preventative maintenance. And in a 5G world where you're always connected, isn't it cool that you've got, video ability, real time on board your asset? And, how cool does that make it? How much more utility it gets? So, definitely where, we think we can do some incredibly neat things for our customers and, with the technology roadmap.
Right. You added nearly 18,000 net subscribers. You're talking about an environment that this is your environment, that people should not be surprised that you are doing well in this kind of environment because that's what you're all about. It's almost like having a drone over each thing to watch it, or like the Jetsons cartoon. You're just ahead of things in the world of technology. That being said, you're part of the UFO ETF at Procure AM, one of the top holdings there. What do you think makes ORBCOMM stand out amongst the peers going forward? How will you grow? How will everybody be wowed in the next 12 to 18 months by your company?
So ORBCOMM was historically a satellite company, and we're still a satellite company. And over the last years, as opposed to being a satellite company operating through, hundreds of resellers where they're building the applications. We bought a number of these resellers to become a one-stop shop where you can get your connectivity, you can get your hardware, you can get your web, your web interface, and get everything all built into one. And what we've been able to accomplish over the last year and a half is 13 acquisitions, getting us into those businesses, have been fully integrated over the last couple of years, which have doubled our margins on hardware. They've drastically improved our service margins, but it's also drastically improved our scale where, if we had $1 of incremental revenue, it used to generate, just about, 20 cents of adjusted EBITDA, as opposed to where we are today with these incredible, incremental margins on new subscribers, somewhere between 85 and 90% on service and 40% on hardware. Growth is really falling to the bottom line. So we've got 15 initiatives that we think are going to spur growth. And then when you combine that with the integration we did so that the company is scalable, we think that we can just generate certainly a much larger percent of adjusted EBITDA and cash going forward.
I hope people are really listening, because within that response, you were talking about 15 initiatives that could spur growth, relationships that you've obviously expanded upon. Something's got to stick, right, Mark? That's pretty exciting stuff, and we look forward to having you back soon. Marc Eisenberg, CEO, ORBCOMM. Thank you.